Are the Racka Racka guys good at bringing back good traditional elevated horror? Let's jump into this review for Bring Her Back. Welcome to the Cinefanatics. My name is Robert Adams. Today I've got a spoiler-free review for Bring Her Back. Before I jump into this, let you know this is my opinion. What is yours? Let me know down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Let's just jump into the review. This is the second feature film from Michael and Danny Philippou, who did Talk to Me. I liked Talk to Me. I thought it was great. It's a nice entry into what we've got currently with a lot of this elevated horror, some of which I feel like is very hit or miss with me. I liked Talk to Me. I thought it did some great things. It had a great idea. I feel like the way it played out, though, was a little too slow for me. And Bring Her Back does the exact same thing as well. I know there's a lot of people that I've talked to already that absolutely adore this movie. They love everything that the Philippou brothers are bringing. They love where they're taking it in their second film. But there's the same kind of problem I had with Talk to Me that I had with this one. Which is basically just how calming some of this stuff is. For me, I'm a big, huge horror fan. I primarily love, like, 80s horror, especially, like, the cheap indie 80s horror where we're trying to make something good and entertaining. We're trying to compete with the big, flashy horror of, like, Freddy Krueger or the Jason Voorhees, the Michael Myers, the Chuckies, like, that kind of stuff. The Technicolor or heavily saturated. I love all of that, especially if it's like just cheap practical effects. That it's so much fun. That is my kind of horror. These elevated horror movies we've gotten lately, they have like a lot of like a drab color palette. Everything, the mood is turned down. Usually like the big focal point for why all this evil and everything is happening is usually based on trauma of some sort. And while I do enjoy that, it's just the way it plays out doesn't quite work for me. And a part of that is because, like I'm talking about on my other channel, youtube.com/@RCAReacts, I deal with a lot of like depression, ADHD, and stuff being able to like get in and stick with me is very hard. So when you have something that's kind of calming, kind of drab, my brain kind of tends to check out. I think of it like if you've ever been driving down a highway and you're still fully focused on driving, but you start like daydreaming and you start imagining like scenarios of stuff that you want to do or that you have done, whatever. You find yourself all of a sudden like shaking out of there, like, oh, I've still been driving this whole time. And it feels a little weird, feels a little off. That's how I am with watching movies sometimes, especially if it's not grabbing onto me and really holding on to my focus. So that's what I got with this. About halfway through the movie, I feel like my brain was starting to check out on some things. They would say something and my brain's over here thinking like, oh, that would be nice if I did this, that, and the other. Like, oh wait, I'm in a movie. I need to be watching and focusing. I gotta talk about this on a video. And then this is what happens is I'm like, my honest, true opinion is I have a hard time connecting with some of these movies because of the way the movie's made. Nothing against the filmmakers at all. They made an excellent movie. Like, aside from my personal way of being able to absorb and watch movies, I think they did a phenomenal job, just like how I felt about Talk to Me. But it's just that connection. And that's why I like having this movie channel. Because everyone else, you don't know everyone else's viewpoints. You don't know where they come from, where their background is, what their experience is. They're talking about if they love or they hate a movie based off of how they understand the world, what they grew up with, what they like, what they enjoy. You don't get like the nuance of exactly why do they have that opinion? Why do they have those viewpoints? Why do they look at movies from such a weird angle? I'm not saying weird as a judgment call, but this is a nice way for me to be able to share with you, hey, these are the mental issues I deal with, and here's how I take in movies. Typically, I'm not going to talk about it a lot. I usually will just be straight and forward, especially if we're ever reviewing like a Marvel film. For the most part, those are very cut and dry, big, flashy, colorful, boom, bang, pow, whatever. But these kind of like slow movies that are very like muted and toned down, is something that I have a hard time grasping with, but yet I can still acknowledge the artistry, what goes into making these movies. I'm not completely like tone deaf to how a movie is created. I love what they did with this movie. It just got a little slow for me. As far as the acting goes, I love the fact that they got Sally Hawkins for this. Going from like Talk to Me, that at that time really didn't have any like big name actors. I didn't really recognize anyone. I know I've seen people who are in that movie who are now doing other things. Like I believe one actor in there is going to be in the MCU Ironheart show. So I love that, like, that was a good springboard for a lot of them, and I hope to see a lot of the major characters from Talk to Me in other things going forward. Bring her back. I love seeing Sally Hawkins in this, who, if you may remember, she's had a star-studded turn in, what was it, Shape of Water, that won Best Picture at the Oscars for Guillermo del Toro. She was also having a great time playing the matriarch of the Brown family in the Paddington films, which I've loved the first two. Haven't seen Paddington in Peru yet, but that's not the kind of movie you're here wanted me to talk about on a horror movie review. I love what she brought to this, and I love the fact that the Philippou brothers did such a good job with Talk to Me. They were able to pull in bigger name actors, and I hope to see more of this, because I love seeing big name actors play in this kind of a realm, this kind of a playground where everything is kind of like drab and dreary, and just really set those acting chops on fire and see what you can bring to this kind of a project. The other one I liked was Billy Barat, who was the older brother Andy in this. I like what he did. I thought he did a very good job bringing the emotion, especially because the last thing I saw him in was that terrible Craven movie. So kind of hard to say anyone was good in that. I like this because I think this did a good job of showing off what he is capable of doing. I hope to see him in more things going on in the future. As far as the gore, y'all know me, I love me some gore, and there's some great gore in this movie. If you're a fan of practical effects, the Philippou brothers, if you're familiar with their YouTube channel, Raka Raka, from back in the day, you know that they like doing stunts and gore and effects very practically, if at all possible, and they don't disappoint with this. This movie has a couple of gore effects that even had me like kind of wincing just a little bit, and I'm the type of person that I watch the Terrifier movies like they were candy. Like, I could just sit there and just eat that up all day. I love practical gore effects. This movie does a phenomenal job with it as well. Overall, this is a movie I would highly recommend. I do know, like, a lot of the people I went to go see the press screening with were saying that this is going to be a little bit dicey. People are going to have a hard time watching this movie. It's going to be very, very emotional, very gut-wrenching, but it's a movie that I feel like will stick with a lot of people. A24 has been doing a phenomenal job so far with the Philippou brothers, taking the chance on them that they did with Talk to Me. That risk paid off, and they were able to Bring Her Back. And I feel like this movie is going to be just as well received as Talk to Me, if not maybe a little bit more. As for me, it's a solid movie. I'm going to have to rewatch it again just because of my inability to focus on slower parts of the movie. It took me a while to kind of really realize what was going on. What was Sally Hawkins' character? What was she actually trying to do? Which is kind of obvious. It's the name of the effing movie. So, all that aside, yes, I can be kind of a moron sometimes, I know, but it's a lot of fun. If you like elevated horror, if you like what they've been doing with this is a very fine addition to the great collection that we've started getting over the past 10 years has really been, I feel like, the solid time frame for these movies. So highly recommend. Go check it out in the theater, a nice packed theater full of people that are just shaking in their seats, might bounce a little. If you're gonna have some food, as they told us at the press screening, if you're gonna eat food, try to have it done before the second half of the movie, if at all possible. Especially if you're even slightly squeamish, you'll have a really good time with that. Otherwise, that's going to be my review. Go check out Bring Her Back. Let original horror be thriving in the box office in the theaters. Go tell them you want more original horror. This is the good stuff, y'all. So go check it out, and make sure you follow us here at The Cinefanatics. We're on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at The Cinefanatics. You can follow me personally at RCA Reacts on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, and youtube.com/@RCA Reacts. Thank you for watching this video. I will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.